Good day, guys. I am Danica Estanyol together with my partner Sheila Gonzaga, and now we're going to discuss about the global and Glocal teacher professional. Is there a difference? As for our learning outcomes, after the discussion, are able to define global and local teachers. Second, infer the demands of globalization in the 21st century on teacher professional. Lastly, a learner can differentiate global and local teachers. Next, we have here the statement of Teacher Education Developing Program Master Plan for 2015 to 2025. The 21st century Philippine Education Master Plan is framed by cultural, historical rootedness, experiential, and field-based learning, community development and transformation, and regional and international contexts and linkages, thus providing a strong foundation for developing local Filipino professional teachers. So this is the plan for the 21st century Philippine education, which tells that global education really develops a strong foundation to education, especially to those local Filipino professional teachers. So what is the global education? There are two definitions of the global education. First is the UNESCO defines global education as a goal to develop countries worldwide and is aimed at educating people in accordance with world standards. Second definition is a curriculum that is international in scope, which prepares today's youth around the world to function in world environment under teachers who are really intellectually, professionally, and humanistically prepared. So we could tell that global education comes from different sources because it is global, means different characteristics, bases, and lessons are gathered together in one place for an equal distribution of knowledge worldwide. And it helps the world to become better and improve intellectually, and also for the sake of the awareness of the students we have in our society. So what are the qualities of a global teacher? A global teacher must have the vision of what the future holds for herself and for the students. So a global teacher is responsible enough to hold the present happenings for the sake of the future. Next is a global teacher must be creative, must be innovative. So a teacher has this capability of creating and innovating, not only in educating, but also it applies on the teacher's method. Next is a global teacher must believe in the ability of the students. So as a global teacher, that doesn't mean that you have to handle everything. In every activity that you should conduct, you should believe in the ability of the students because you are a professional and you have this mindset in gaining the trust of your students for their education, for their activity. And also, we can see that in trusting the ability of the students, it gives them more confidence and it gives them more creative, and which lead them to brainstorming, and it will the students, and it also a technique because the students will not depend on you. So a teacher must believe in the ability of the students because that is where they develop their ability more and will know their characteristics. Next is a global teacher must be able to facilitate digitally mediated learning. In this 21st century, a global teacher must ride the new or the high technology we have in our global, because without the knowledge of the digitally meditated learning, a global teacher from different aspects or different areas, especially in conducting the lessons or discussing the lessons. Next is a global teacher must possess communication skills. Why? Because you will be known as a global teacher because you have these communication skills. You have this capability to communicate to one another and understand different attitudes of the students. And it is required to have these communication skills. Communication skills is not by talking, but it is the ability to understand the one whom you are talking to. Next is, so what is James Baker in 1988 says about the global education? So James Baker said in 1998, defined the global education as an effort to help individual learners to see the world as a single and global system and to see themselves as a participant in the system. So James Baker points out aning statement that a global teacher, so the global education helps us to remove the barrier, to remove the walls against every country, to every educators, to every single one, and it emphasizes that a global education helps the learner to think as one, and also to help the students to think that they are part of this system, that they are part of this global. Okay? No, so some of us question, baka pangutana ka, this is not involved in the Philippines. Our lessons is not in the scope of the Philippines. So why do the teachers discuss this one? In order to be, for us to be knowledgeable on the other countries to the worldwide. Gina-encourage ang matag usa na kita usa and even nga to ang learners kinahanglan aware ta kung unsa ang mga gipang learn pud sa uban. So a global education is have only one goal. So not only in this Philippines, abang country pud napud sila goal about sa global. So napud sila gidiscuss about sa ato, about sa mga learnings na kinahanglan i-conduct global because dili pud mag-improve ang uban if ang natud-an nato diri dili pa pud ma-impart sa uban na country. Okay? So what we have learned in this place should also be teach on the other place in order for a great development. So gina-emphasize po diri na parte po ta ani nga system. So a student is also in this global education, the students is encouraged to participate globally. In what way? Cooperating with your teachers. Next is, a global education is defined as an approach to education which seeks to enable young people to participate in shaping a better shared future for the world through. So, mao ni akong ginaingon, no, ang matag usa ka students mo to ginakandak ang global education para magkaroon ang matag usa og knowledge nga mag-participate para ani nga mas ma-better pa ang world. Okay, so a global education. So naga-discuss dara ako sa mga issue, kung sa mga kulang, okay, para ma-aware ang tanan. Emphasizing the unity, okay, no, so kitang tanan naga-desire ta na magkaroon tag unity sa matag usa, labaw na sa human society. Okay, developing a sense of self and appreciation of cultural diversity, affirming social justice and human rights, peace building and actions for a sustainable future. Emphasizing developing relationships with our global neighbors, promoting open-mindedness and a predisposition to take action for change. So it is said in Curriculum Corporation 2008, page 2. So this is a global education defined. It aims only one thing, for the unity. And don't forget the qualities of global educators should have. Thank you, and let's proceed to our Glocal education.
Everyone, so my name is Shalame Gonzaga. So I will discussing about glocal education. So what is glocal education? So glocal education is a diversity understanding the differences and cultural groups and preparing future teachers from the remote and rural villages in developing countries to the slum areas of urbanized countries to the highly influential and economically stable societies of the world for the rules in the 21st century classroom. Local education, it means a local teacher is someone who thinks and acts both locally and globally with worldwide perspective but is teaching in the communities, localities, towns, provinces, and regions where he is suited. Unlike the global education, where teachers is competent and armed with skills and knowledge in any place in the world. So example of local education. So here in the Philippines, the way the teachers teach us, they are focusing to our language and to our culture. The seven outcomes target of sustainable development to be achieved by the year 2030. So first, universal primary and secondary education. So it means it deal with the participation in primary, lower secondary, look mean and universal pre-primary education. And second is early childhood development and universal pre-primary education. So it means by 2030 ensures that all boys and girls access to qualified early childhood development, care and pre-primary education so that they are ready for primary education. And for the third is equal access to technical and vocational and higher education. So it means it ensure equal access for all men and women to afford the quality of technical, vocational, and tertiary education including university. Fourth, relevant skills for decent work. To increase the number of youth and adults to who are relevant skills for their employment that they are achieve jobs and entrepreneurship. So, five is gender equality and inclusion. So, all students access this education even if you are have disabilities and or indigent people. 6. Universal Youth Literacy. These outcomes, universal youth literacy, it is in source that all youth, even men and women, that will achieve literacy and numeracy. As a student, we need to achieve in the literacy and numeracy. Literacy means as a student, we need to apply the five tranche, which is speaking, listening, reading, writing, and viewing. And we talk about numeracy is we students have ability in mathematical concepts, skills to solve problem. And for the last is education for sustainable development and global citizenship. By 2030, ensures that all learners acquire the knowledge and skills needed to promote sustainable development, including among others through education for sustainable development and sustainable life and human rights. Learning goals. So there have two learning goals. So first is 21st century content. Emerging content areas such as global awareness, financial, economic, businesses, and environmental awareness. And for the second is learning and thinking skills, critical thinking and problem solving skills, communication, creativity and information and media literacy, ICT literacy, life skills, 21st century assessment. And that's all. Thank you.